right, people. Welcome to Peeps Creek, the cafe. This is episode 43. Episode 43, season 4. We kept saying season 3 last time. Season 4, episode 43. I'm your host, Sean, and you are in What in the Fried Chicken and Watermelon. All right. So, here at the cafe, we always have a drink. And today I am drinking on some H2O. Boom, boom, boom. We're taking a little break from the alcoholic beverage. And today I am joined in the cafe by Christian. Say hello, Christian.
Hello, people.
All right. Are you excited about today's episode?
Yeah.
And what are you?
I want some context on that. What the fried chicken and watermelon though.
We'll get to that. And what are you drinking on today?
I'm also drinking on some H2O and with lime juice, I think.
All right.
And there's actual ice in it this time, so you can't say anything.
I know. I was just about to say that. All right. So,
your cup might tilt over.
Sorry. All right. So, let's get into some of the topics today. Did you want to start us off?
Yes. So, as I don't know if you've ever mentioned this on the podcast or in any of the episodes, but you have been pescatarian for how long?
Since 2007.
And
since 2007. So that's
for those
what?
who don't know.
Wait.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
14 years.
Okay. So for those who don't know, pescatarianism is that a word?
Yeah.
It means that you don't eat any meat other than like fish or seafood. And I know that you love your tuna, and not that you go often that I know of, or that we even go often, but anytime we've gotten Subway, you've always gotten the tuna, and
Yes.
honestly, so have I. That's the only thing I get now.
Tuna with spinach and cheese and it melted. Mm-hmm.
Yep, or that tuna salad. And there was an article that was published, I think yesterday, that I sent you. The New York Times published a report on Sunday which revealed that lab tests didn't find any amplifiable tuna DNA in Subway's infamous tuna sandwich. They collected 60 inches worth of tuna sandwiches from 3 different LA locations. And the lab analysis in the wake of a lawsuit filed earlier this year alleging the sandwich chain was serving a mixture of various concoctions that do not constitute tuna.
Wait. Okay. Concoctions meaning, was there any fish in there?
Maybe, because it does taste like fish, but it's not tuna per se. So you could be eating cod.
Nah, I need to know what this is. Like,
so, and I did not know this. They filed a whole lawsuit, and that's how it came out. But they're saying that it's meant to be like an imitation tuna thing. You know how they do like imitation crab.
mm-hmm.
But I'm like, why would you like not say anything though?
Yeah, like.
And I wonder if it's like just in LA because they only got it from those 3 different places, or if it's like everywhere.
But okay, Los Angeles is in California. Is that right?
Yeah.
And California is near water.
Yes.
So they should be able to easily get real tuna.
Yes.
Right? So it's not like they have to import it from across the world.
Yeah.
Right?
And I feel like I don't know if all tuna, the whole tuna, or Subway, sorry, the whole chain gets their resources from the same like vendors or something. So I don't. Something's a little fishy there.
No pun intended.
Pun intended.
Oh yeah, fishy there, but it's not fish for real because obviously.
I mean, it could be fish, but we don't know if.
Okay,
it's
wait,
tuna.
go back. So what did they say? I'm sorry.
Oh my god. They said that it's. Okay, so Los Angeles locations, whatever, earlier this year alleging the sandwich chain was serving customers a mixture of various concoctions that do not constitute tuna.
Oh my God.
I mean, when was the last time we had tuna was when we went to Mexico in December.
Yeah, but that was real tuna because I could tell that was tuna. I didn't eat a Subway.
You never know, but
Wait, I didn't
Remember,
eat at Subway though in Mexico.
no, I'm saying when we were going to Mexico to meet your friends, we stopped at that charger to charge the car,
Oh
and
yeah,
then you
and the
got your
Subway.
salad,
We got salad
and I
with,
got a tuna sandwich.
and maybe that's why I was sick.
Maybe.
Is there a lawsuit? What's the lawsuit about? Did they say?
It's from Complex, so they don't really go into it. There are two conclusions. One, it's so heavily processed that whatever we pull out, we couldn't make an identification. A lab spokesperson explained. Or we got some and there's nothing there that's tuna.
Oh,
And that's coming from a lab person.
yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And so
I don't see anything about the actual like lawsuit. It just said that earlier this year there was a lawsuit that came out.
crazy. So
Yeah.
are you done eating Subway tuna sandwiches? Or
I really
actually, you know what? We should do a test. We should go to a Subway local. We're not going to tell you which Subway in the DC area. We should ask for a tuna melt sandwich, right? And then we should ask them, is this real tuna? And that way, if they say yes, then we take it to the lab. We ask the lab to test it to see if it's tuna.
And we're rich.
Not rich, but we could potentially file a lawsuit. False advertisement.
Oh my! I'm like, I got sick an hour later. No, I honestly, I don't really like anything other than the tuna from Sub. That's all I get. And it was.
I like the veggies
before.
wrap, the veggie patty.
I mean, I don't. Oh, I didn't know they had veggie patties. I'm not really into veggie patties, but I feel like those are like the Morning Star
No, they're not.
because they look like that.
No, they're the long patties, and actually they're pretty good. But I don't know what's in there.
I mean, now that I'm like that this came out, I'm like, is that even real steak and cheese?
I
Because
know.
I was a big fan of the steak and cheese back in like high school.
But that leads to another point. So I used to love when I used to eat meat, I used to love like the chicken kung pao, whatever, at the Chinese restaurant.
And it came out that it wasn't actual chicken.
Well, I don't know that, but I did see this. I think I was in high school or something at some point, and I saw this video, and I forget what country they were in, but literally the people were they were at a meat restaurant, right? You know, like the market, and they were literally like picking up these bloody
Chickens or what?
well, it was rat meat.
Oh,
So ever since then, because I always questioned, and this is no offense to any Asian restaurants, so don't come for me, okay? I have a preference of what I choose to put in my body. But ever since then, I was like, you know what? It doesn't look like real chicken sometimes, like the chicken.
or the texture.
Right. And so I literally, the only thing I would ever eat at that time, since then, was rice and the chicken wings, because they actually look like chicken wings, and shrimp.
Hey,
The shrimp, fried shrimp,
okay.
fried rice and shrimp. And then when I stopped eating meat, the only thing I would eat is shrimp fried rice. Because rice looks like rice.
Yeah.
The onions look like onions. The shrimp definitely looks like shrimp.
Yeah. You were saying the chicken wings, and I'm like, well, frog legs look exactly like chicken wings too.
No, they don't. You could tell
I
the
know,
difference
but
of
you can
frog
tell
legs.
you can even like taste it. But
Yeah.
but no, I've always had that. I love Chinese food though, so.
But side note, I know this isn't a topic, but it's still in that frog legs. Frogs can go in the water and out the water. Would that be pescatarianism if you ate frog legs?
That's what we were trying to figure. Because the only time I've had frog legs was that one time with Mike.
Don't say location, but yeah, with my fraternity brother Mike, and we had ordered frog.
And they don't have them anymore. But either way,
Yeah,
like if I didn't know that they were frog legs, I probably would have tried it or eaten like a whole one.
yeah.
But knowing that I'm eating a frog leg, I just couldn't do it. So I had like a bite of it.
Yeah.
Barely. And then he thought it was really good.
Yeah.
I don't know if you tried it or not.
I did have some of the frog legs.
Oh. Did you say it was good?
Yeah, they were good. I mean, they were different.
Yeah.
It's not something I would go and get every day.
Yeah.
And I definitely wouldn't cook them.
Oh fuck! Oh my god! How? Oh, what if they use the same oil for everything else? Because most of their food is fried.
Okay, so I'm one of those pescatarians that I'm not like a person that's like, does this
Yeah, yeah,
touch meat? Like I'm not like that.
yeah.
Now, um, I try to frequent restaurants that I think are a little more
Clean in the front.
cleaner and safer, but then I'm not in the back, so I really don't know what the people are doing, to be
Yeah,
honest. And a lot of those places, even if you order something that's vegetarian, right, and they sell a lot of meat products, or you order something that's seafood, they always they try to give you, at least a good restaurant would give you a disclaimer that they can't guarantee that there won't be cross contamination with meat products, right?
yeah,
And like some people who like vegetarians, right, with broth, depending on the soup, they'll be like, "Is this chicken broth?" I'm not like that. Now, when I make my vegetable soup in the crock pot, I normally get vegetable broth,
yeah.
or I make my own vegetable broth with water and seasoning and things like that. So I mean, it's the
Your soup is really good, by the way.
I know it's very good. Yeah.
But or something. But anyways,
All right, so let's change the topic. So this episode was really going to be called "Is It Toxic?" because I wanted to talk about the Britney Spears situation, but then
mm-hmm.
these other topics made me want to change it to episode 43, what in the fried chicken and watermelon. All right.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Britney Spears. So first of all, are you a Britney Spears fan?
I wouldn't say that I am like a fan. I like her. I like her. I like some of her songs, especially like her older ones. But she kind of just fell out of like the music industry, and I didn't know anything that was going on until recently. Until I actually saw a documentary.
Okay, before you get to the
Yeah. So go
documentary,
ahead.
did you really answer my question? Do you like Britney Spears
Yes, I
as an
like Britney
artist?
Spears.
All right.
Yes.
So I was never truly a big fan. So I'm not like one of these people like I know there's this whole movement, Free Britney, and we'll talk about that movement in a minute. But I know people are probably going to come for me, but I never really thought she was a good singer. Sorry. I felt like she had great beats, great lyrics, and she worked the system the way it needed to work. But for me, she didn't come across as a good singer. Now, that very well could be that the music industry wanted to show her in a certain perspective. And so I wasn't able to see her vocal abilities.
Yeah.
But she's not a person, if I had to pick or choose a person to sing the national anthem at a ball game, Britney Spears ain't the first person who come to mind, right? For me.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So um so let's talk a little bit about the documentary. Just high level aspect of the documentary. Can you like tell the people what the documentary is
So
and what you
it's
thought about it?
for disclaimer, Britney was not in it at all. She didn't really have like anything to say about it. I don't think she like knew that it was made, honestly. But the documentary is basically just about her life and how the downside of everything that's happened, and it goes more in depth and it makes people understand more like why she did the things she did, like shaving her head and all that. Um and how the industry and the paparazzis and all that can damage a person. Um and it also goes into the conservatorship, is that how you say it? Okay.
Yes.
um and how her father, which, let me just say, piece of shit, and I will say that right now, I do not like him. And I'm also getting this from the podcast that you like, that I listened to those 2 episodes. They like he was never in the picture until she was big and famous and rich, and that one comment still stuck with me, that he was like, one day she's gonna buy me a boat, and that's all he cared about. Like, he was never in the picture. And yeah, she had other like small or younger siblings at home, um but it's like, you were not in the picture. And they say that in a documentary as well. um but yeah, it talks about that and how all that works. I did not know anything about it until the documentary itself. And she was actually supposed to speak on that for the first time ever, I think, today.
Well, not the first time ever. So she actually did speak in court in 2019. Um, but uh, when she spoke today, she pretty much said the reason I didn't come back to court after 2019 was because I felt like I wasn't being heard. And so
Yeah.
let's back up very quickly. What is a legal conservatorship? So legal conservatorships come at different perspectives, right? So they are primarily, typically based upon someone who's infirm, basically someone who can't take care of themselves, or they don't have the mental faculties to make decisions about themselves. And normally conservatorships are saved for folks who are frail, older, or have some kind of mental issues, right?
Yeah.
And they come in multiple forms, right? It can be a conservatorship that takes care of your medical, right? Because they feel that an individual petitions the court and say, I feel like this person can't make the best decisions about his or her medical health, and so they need someone to assist them. It can also be in the sense of someone needs to take care of their financial responsibilities or their financial wealth and health. And so we need someone who is able to make those decisions for that person. Now, normally and typically, you would want someone who's qualified in either respect. If it's because of the medical, you probably would want someone who has some kind of medical background making those decisions, right? And if it's financial, you probably more likely than not would want someone in control of that who understands financials, who can make decisions that are for the betterment of your wealth and not just take your money, right? And so that's kind of what a legal conservatorship is. And in Britney's perspective, her conservatorship controls every aspect of her life. It controls her financials. It controls where she can be, when she can be.
Her
It
states.
it controls her what?
States.
What you mean states?
Estate.
Oh, estate.
Estates.
Yes, that's the money.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Oh,
The
okay.
wealth. Okay. And her person, being that it can the conservatorship and those who are in control can decide, if you need to go to a medical facility, they can make that determination for you, even if you object to it. Okay. Now, I think part of what the documentary was showing was that I don't know if the documentary was meant to try to highlight that she was truly going through something, because, or was the documentary focus trying to highlight the negative aspect of it? What did you think? And when I said of it, the conservatorship.
I think that they at some point I think it was more the negative aspect of it. I think they wanted people to realize that, like, she wasn't, like, people would say crazy, or like maybe she did have some like mental
Did you think she was
illness to it.
crazy?
I'm not gonna lie. When it all first came out, like her shaving her head and like beating a paparazzi, yeah, I was like, oh my gosh, she's like going insane. But
Okay, can we stop on that for a moment? What is a lot of people felt, at least people I talked to at the time that she did that yeah, oh, that's a telltale sign that she's crazy. But why does it matter that she shaved her head, and why is that
exactly.
indicative?
So
Why? Let me finish. Why is that indicative of a sign of craziness? Because she shaved her head.
No, and I get that.
I'm asking you because you said you
I mean,
thought
I
at the
was
time.
also like, what, 10 when that happened. So I didn't know anything. I didn't know about mental illness. I didn't know about anything. I don't know anything about celebrities and like paparazzis and it all getting to you in the industry. And but now when I saw a documentary, I was like, oh wow, I never thought about it that way. Like that there are people that actually thought the same things that I did. When I think it was completely wrong. I think she was just so tired of it, because her reasoning behind it was that she just wanted people to stop touching her. Like she didn't want to be touched anymore. Um, And I don't know. I don't think that she's incapable of making her own decisions. Even the lawyer said that.
Okay, so I don't know her personally, so I can't make that determination. But I would say that when I saw her shaving her head, I didn't immediately attach that to she's going crazy.
Yeah.
I attached that to the fact that she was sick and tired of all this paparazzi. She was sick and tired of people being in her circle, her bubble. And so if she wasn't the beautiful, quote unquote, the beautiful Britney that was a prime time shot maker, right? Because I think in the documentary at one point there was one photographer who was making millions of dollars per picture,
Yeah.
right? And
he pissed me off.
and
Sorry.
so for me, it's like, okay, you want to take a picture and you want this to be beautiful. No one's going to pay to see me look like this. Now, maybe she was going through something, but I think for me, we need to have, and I don't think we had a very good, and when I say we, I'm talking about the pulse of the nation. I don't think we had a very good perspective of mental health and mental illness and mental well-being because I think there are spectrums with it, right? Just because I'm going through something or I do something out of the ordinary, right? That is out of the ordinary for you, right? And your expectation for me, that don't mean I'm crazy, right? That means I want to do something to make to make an impact for whatever reason in my life in that moment, in that time, in that space, right?
Yeah.
And so I think that we do a very bad job when it comes to celebrities. We think that they are not human. I think we think they are robots, money making machines. They're here to do this, that, and the third. And anytime someone is off their game, they don't have the right dress, they don't look a certain way. Oh, she came to the Oscars with this on. Oh, she on the red carpet looking raggedy. Like, who's her stylist? Like, for me, why does that fucking matter to you?
Yeah.
Because where's your stylist? You know what I mean? Like, where's your money to buy this $3,000 gown? Now, I can also see, I'm sorry, I know I'm talking a lot, but I can also see the flip side of the person who is the fan. I am contributing to your success. I am paying for your albums. I'm paying hundreds of dollars to go to your show, right? Or I'm streaming your music. So I want what I bargained for, and what I bargained for was celebrity status, right? But it can cut both ways, and I just think that it gets to the point of, I don't know, just being
not. I think that people think that they know celebrities. All, especially now with like social media and stuff, they're like, oh my god, I know everything about them.
right.
Like, we really don't. We don't. They're like normal people.
Yeah.
They just are rich and famous and make their money differently than we do.
Yeah. Now, I do. What about the part where I think in the documentary there was some portion of it where she took the umbrella and was
Yeah, cause okay, so that that's like after she shaved her head, she was trying to see her kids, and she was with her sister, I believe, and her sister was driving
cousin,
her
I
around,
think,
or
actually.
cousin, and she was driving her, and she went to the baby daddy's house. I don't know his name.
Kevin
Just call-
Federline.
Sure.
He used to be her
Um,
dancer or something.
and he wouldn't let her in the gate. So they left and went to the gas station, and the paparazzi just like would not leave her alone. And it was that same guy that spoke in the interview.
The paparazzi.
Yeah.
Guy. He was like,
And
I gave her.
the interviewer asked him, she was, because he mentioned, he was like, not once did she say she wanted to be left alone.
And I'm like, bruh, she said it many fucking times.
Even on that instant, like, and the paparazzi or the interviewer, like, even brought that up, and he was like, she was never like clear about it. So that's why I'm like,
He was like, even, and the interviewer was like, even when she told you I want to be left alone.
exactly.
Well, she didn't mean forever. She just meant in that moment.
And
yeah.
he was like, oh, that night, he was like, oh, I got a great shot of her, this and that. And I'm like, she barely made, honestly, like, if she would have cracked a window or something, I'm like, okay, fine. But like, she barely did anything.
Yeah. But did you find her action to be a sign of craziness? And I know that's a bad word, but that's kind of how the documentary, at least the conversation at that point in time, that's the line they were
I think that
talking.
she was just so fed up at that point. And before, if you would have asked me this question, yes, I would have been like, that's a sign that she was going crazy and that she needed like to take a break. But I think that it was because we also don't know if she was like drinking or something. Not that I'm saying anything like that she was or not, but I think it was more of the fact that she was fed up with everything, and then her not being able to see her kids also because he had taken her to court and she lost the custody
Right.
of her kids.
Now, I want to stop for a moment just to say this. As a parent, right? I know some people fought him for what he did. He being Kevin Federline. Maybe he shouldn't have locked her out. Maybe he should. We don't know what their conversation was. We don't know if he felt that his children were unsafe. We don't know that, right? And we also don't know whether or not she said something untoward to him that gave him that. But we also don't know whether he was just being an asshole, right? But I will say that I do give him kudos in this sense. And I know some people may come for me. But oftentimes when it comes to parenting, right, it is the presumption is that the mother is more nurturing. And so custody aspects are normally seen as it's a guarantee that she being the mother should receive custody. And I do think it was very smart on his behalf to cross-file for custody of his children. Now, a lot of folks were saying he did that for financial reasons, maybe.
I think he was taking advantage of what was going on at the time, big time. And honestly, even I know that I don't know anything about like custody battles or the law, but because she was already in a conservatorship at that point.
No, she wasn't.
I think she was.
She was not. At the time, she was not. What happened is that there was a point of time, and I think it was 2004 or something, because she's been in for like 17 years.
Yeah.
Long ass time. Like, and she's 38 or 39. Yeah. Like, come on now. But she was not. And then at the point she went to the hospital is when her father petitioned the court for temporary conservatorship.
Oh, okay. And I think that was that same night. And
one thing about this case, which is very frustrating too, from a legal perspective, is that normally the concept of the law, especially when it comes to court, is that they should be open to the public, because that's how you know about the legal system. That's how you understand the legal system. That's how you understand how judges make decisions. But in this case, it's been closed. Like, you really can't get documents in this case just searching for it freely, right? You have to go and do a FOIA request. They need to go and make a determination if they're going to release it. And it's typically not that way, right? And I felt like because this was such a public situation, this docket should not have been under seal. And under seal in the legal system just basically means that it's not open to the public. Everything is sealed, basically. And the only person who can get it are the parties who are parties in the case and the judge, right?
And even like when that new lawyer came in, when she was trying to get her father out from being the conservator, I don't know if that's the right word, but she wanted a banker or a bank to have her she did not want him as her financial conservator.
Right.
And when the lawyer asked for documents, they were like, no, we won't show you this, but this is what we can tell you what the document says.
Right.
Which we don't know. Like,
and she couldn't even pick her own lawyer. Exactly. So she had identified someone that she wanted as her lawyer, and the court denied her the opportunity to pick her lawyer. And
she was paying for both sides.
Well, she's paying for everything.
Yeah.
And that is fundamentally an issue. Like, in the legal system, a party, a defendant, a plaintiff, they're free to choose their lawyer, right? Mm-hmm. The freedom to pick your lawyer is a fundamental principle in the legal system. I should be able to freely decide who I want to represent my position. I should be freely to decide who I want to discuss the intimate details of my case with. But she wasn't given that. Now, we don't know why, because we don't see the medical records. We don't know what happened, right?
Yeah.
But she wasn't able to do that. And so the court, her current lawyer is a court-appointed lawyer, right? So anyhow, she is paying for everything. Every legal lawsuit that her father as conservator filed, her estate pays for it.
Yeah.
And there was one case where, like, she is paying millions in legal fees, right? Her father is getting paid. He gets a percentage of all of her money that she brings in, right? The lawyer who was helping with the conservatorship, he wanted a raise, I think upwards of $500,000 a year is what he received. So initially when he first started, it was like $30,000. He came in and basically said, look, this is a business. Like, I need an increase. There's a lot going on. So he received an increase and made his yearly salary just from that, like close to $500,000. That's a lot of money for someone who is allegedly incapable of taking care of their own responsibility. But yet she touring all over the world. She got this Las Vegas show going on, residency and all that. Anyhow, but here's a case that the father, I don't know if you knew this, but this Free Britney moment, there was a blog called Absolute Britney. And this person, I think, was a super fan. And basically what some of the allegations he was making was that the conservatorship was deleting positive comments on social media related to Britney because the conservatorship wanted to show that the fans even thought she was crazy, basically, right? Those are the allegations in the blog.
Yeah.
Father sued. He sued for defamation, slander, and some other things, basically saying that this was a conspiracy and he wanted to stop the conspiracy theories that kind of spearheaded the Free Britney movement. And he won. The father won. But all that money,
he kept.
No, all that money, Britney was paying for everything relating to the lawsuit. All the lawyer fees, everything. But anyhow, so we don't need to talk that much about this, but apparently she spoke in court today.
I want to see if there's like a video or something.
No video, but there is a statement from CNN. This is where I got this from. And she says basically this. She says, a lot has happened since 2 years ago, the last time I was in court. I haven't been back to court because I didn't feel I was heard. She apparently went on to say that in 2008, she was 18. She was forced to perform in Las Vegas during her residency against her will. She didn't want to do it, right? And then she said at one point they gave her a strong drug. I think it's called lithium or something. Lithium against her will. And what she said is it's a strong drug. You can go mentally impaired if you stay on it longer than 5 months. Yeah. I felt drunk. I couldn't even have a conversation with my mom or dad about anything. They had me with 6 different nurses. And she said that her family didn't do a goddamn thing. She said anything I had to do, my dad was the one who approved all of it. My whole family did everything. My whole family did nothing, basically to prevent that type of control. And she said that the control he had to hurt his own daughter, he loved it, her father. I worked 7 days a week. It was like sex trafficking. I didn't have a credit card. I didn't have cash or a passport. I'm traumatized. I'm not happy. I can't sleep. I'm so angry. It's insane. And she asked the court to cancel the conservatorship. And so apparently she's also, even though she has like a $60 million estate, she's only given a stipend of like $2,000 a week of her own money that she fucking made.
I know. It's insane. Wow. Because I know like lithium is a strong drug. They use that in like hospitals and stuff, like mental hospitals.
Right.
Wow.
So anyway, that's what she said. At least those are excerpts of what she said. We probably will hear more as things come out. But yeah, so that was the whole concept of the Free Britney aspect. But I will say this. This movement is pretty strong. People are out there protesting about it. But I'm going to throw a little shade on this. I wish they had that same energy when it came to other things.
Yeah. No, for sure.
And so, that's just my shady comment on that.
To end it on a good note, though, I will say I support Britney, and I hope that she does get out of this conservatorship. But yeah.
I mean, I personally think it's insane that she's still in one. Personally,
Yeah,
if she's able to go and make all this money, there's absolutely no reason that she shouldn't be able to make her own decisions about that.
for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
I did want to. Is there something else
No.
you want to talk about? So on a brighter note, I know that she's also a big LGBTQ fan, Britney, and I wanted to, since it's Pride Month, there has been two things. Are you familiar with Shakari Richardson?
I mean, I, I don't know her. I know that she is like considered the fastest woman in the world now, right?
Yeah. So she and three other women are going to the Olympics, and two of them are African American or Black women. Um, so, and Shakari, from what I've seen and kind of researched on, she's part of the LGBTQ community, and she made a statement in regards to it. I think that I read that. Um, and also her being African American and like representing,
Yeah.
So I thought that was very like, especially during Pride Month.
Yeah.
I thought it was exciting and
Yeah.
to see it. And then
I mean, the chick can run.
I was like, 10.66 seconds.
I mean, I thought I was a good runner. She can run.
There was a article that came out and they were like, girls gave up after like she ran in front of her. And I was like, I mean, I would have too. That's embarrassing.
Yeah, no, she is fast.
Yeah, no, she was like insane. So congrats to her.
Congrats.
She definitely deserved it. She's I don't know if she's the youngest to
I don't know.
go into the Olympics or not, but I know she's the fastest, considered right now the fastest. So congrats to her.
Congrats.
And then another thing.
Big ups.
Yeah. Another thing. I'm not a sports fan. I don't consider it to be a sports fan at least, but I know that Carl, he plays for the Las Vegas Raiders. Carl Nassib is the first active NFL player in history to come out as gay. I think that's also a big he's I don't know what he is. I don't know if he's white or his last name kind of seems like Middle Eastern.
Mm-hmm.
But that's besides the point. For an NFL player to come out, if this was like 5 years ago, he probably would have been like kicked out. I don't know many.
Yeah, there was some whole big thing years ago about not being able to.
Yeah.
Because what was the black guy who he came out as gay?
Is he the baseball player?
The black guy, no, he was football, but he came out, but he came out during preseason, and he never played in season. He was benched basically.
I feel like I know who you're talking about. But...
let me see what his name is. I forget his name because that was a big deal at the time.
Yeah. Well, he made a video on Instagram and basically saying that he wanted to show representation because he thinks it's very important, especially in the LGBTQ community. And he hopes that like one day things like a coming out video shouldn't have to be made because really it's no one's business, but people care so much.
Right.
Especially for someone that's in like a spotlight like that. But he also was going to donate $100,000 to the Trevor Foundation or Trevor Project, which is a foundation that was created in 1998 for the LGBTQ and to protect them against like suicide and all that.
Nice.
It was founded after a short film. I think it was like Grammy nominated or something like that. Trevor. And I don't know. I think that's very nice of him. And
yeah. And the guy who I was thinking about was Michael Sam. The black guy. He came out but he never played. I don't even know what he's doing now, honestly.
I mean, even with like it, I know it has nothing to do with being gay or anything, but what's his name? Coel Caperson. What's the
Who?
guy that kneeled down during the national
Colin
anthem?
Kaepernick.
Colin Kaepernick. Yeah. Um, he is no longer playing, I think,
Yes.
because of trying to represent something that's important to him.
Right.
And there
But
was,
I don't want to equate the two.
I know. I was just,
But I think what you're trying to say is that because it was something important to him, a
yeah,
movement, right? Police brutality and things of that nature to get African Americans, that he was kind of blackballed as a result of that. And so I think what I hear you say is that hopefully Carl and Nasib don't go through the same thing because
of, I want to say skin color. And I don't know. It's shitty, but I'm trying to like see the good in what he's doing, because I mean that foundation could have used all the money they can get, because
right.
they have, um,
And suicide prevention is important.
yeah,
And people are bullied oftentimes for the choice in life that they decide, and rightfully so. People should mind their own damn business. Like, who a person dates shouldn't matter to you. Like,
yeah,
I'm not interfering with your money. I'm not interfering in your household
at all,
at all. So, like, mind your own fucking business at the end of the day.
yeah.
But yeah, kudos and big ups to him. I want to move the topic to two different things. First and foremost, we just came out May 30th, the 100-year, the Centennial of the Tulsa Massacre. And I would say that in school, I've never learned anything about the Tulsa
Me
Massacre.
either.
And so very quickly, for those who don't know anything about it, is that in Tulsa, and I think it was 1921, May 30th, into June 1st, there in what was called the Black Wall Street in Greenwood in Tulsa. Essentially, white folks maimed, killed, and butchered African Americans, tore down all of their homes and buildings and restaurants and theaters over an incident. So did you know about it? First of all, the Tulsa Massacre.
No, after I did research on it when you mentioned it that you wanted to talk about it, and I know those facts. I don't know much about it,
Yeah.
honestly.
So there were two individuals, and I want to make sure that I have their names. The first girl name was Sarah. And so Sarah, there's Dick Rowland, and Sarah Page. So Dick Rowland was an African American shoe shiner, right? He needed to use the restroom. And that time, Tulsa was very segregated, of course. Duh, it's Tulsa, right?
Mm-hmm.
Very, very segregated. He needed to use the restroom. He knew that there was a building where he had the ability to use the restroom. Was the Dressler building, which is on the third floor, a restroom that was dedicated for black folks at that time, Negroes, right?
Yeah.
He went into the Dressler building. He went into the elevator. Sarah Page, a white teenage child, basically, right? She was the elevator operator, and in that time it was like a manual elevator. You had to tell the person where to go. They took you to up there, down there. Apparently no one really knows what happened in the elevator. Okay, there are different stories. Some stories is that he tripped, bumped into her. She became frantic, went down to the lobbies, and came out of the lobby, started screaming. He ran. Other folks say, depending on what side of the fence you're on, other folks say he tried to grope her, attempted to rape her, right? There is also another story where individuals felt that the two of them actually were a couple. And because interracial dating was absolutely prohibited at the time,
Mm-hmm.
that she had to come out with this scene. So, end of the day, she comes out screaming. There is a white person there who consoles her. He felt that it was something egregious that happened. He went to the police, and the police went and found Dick Rowlands and arrested him, put him in jail. White folks started coming to the jail. Black folks knew about this, what was going on, and some of them were World War II veterans, I think. And they, had their guns, went down there and asked them to release Dick Rowlands to them so that they could protect him. Apparently, it was a shuffle going on between the two sides. The story is that there was a white man trying to take a gun from a black guy. The gun went off, and then that just escalated to an entire situation. Dick Rawlins eventually escaped, right? And Sarah Page escaped, and she actually recanted her story. So initially, she said there was attempted rape. She recanted her story, and she would not participate with the prosecution, who was trying to prosecute Dick Rowlands. And so that escalated to the point where white folks start burning down Greenwood. They start shooting. Apparently, there are stories of planes dropping incendiary devices on top of buildings. And I actually read a letter from one of the black lawyers. He was one of the first lawyers in Tulsa who saw the events unfold. And to actually read that letter is from the Smithsonian. It's actually breathtaking. That we still have that recorded history the way it was recorded, right? But just to hear the types of things that was going on, it's just crazy.
Yeah.
And to this day, there has been no reparations, no money given to the victims, and actually none of the insurance claims went through. And the reason none of those insurance claims went through is because the insurance determined that it was a riot, not a massacre. So it depends on how you use the words. If it's a riot, then that means that, you know, both sides participated in the situation and created the situation. If it was a massacre, which is what most black folks identify it as, is that it was a group of folks coming in and taking over.
Yeah.
And so we're at the centennial of that. There was some, you know, commemorations going on regarding that. And it's just crazy that history was hidden for so long.
There's so many though, because I found another one today that's kind of the same. This happened around, and I only, Shakari Richardson posted something about it on November 3rd, 2020, right for Election Day. It's the,
I didn't pass, guys. That was this.
okay. It's the, I don't know how to pronounce this, Ocoee Massacre in Florida, where black man attempted to go vote, and the KKK responded with rampage that led to exile and death of every black person that lived there. Now I don't know if it's every black person, but there were at least like 40 deaths.
Yeah.
And like you don't learn about this in school
Not
at
at all.
all. And I think it's important that people know, like,
Yeah.
all because he wanted to vote. Like, people should have the right, and American citizens should have the right.
Right.
And I get those times back then that it wasn't allowed, but it's just very shitty. And this happened from November 2nd to November 3rd.
Wow.
It was like
What year?
1920 actually.
Oh,
So
wow.
It was the same year as, or a
The year before.
as the
Tulsa Massacre.
Tulsa Massacre.
So there. So another thing about the Tulsa Massacre, which I didn't know, was that I know you heard about the Japanese internment camps during World War I think, right?
Yeah.
Well, they had internment camps for the blacks in Tulsa at that time. And recall that the families from the Japanese internment camps received reparations because of that. And the families of the black folks who were interned in these camps didn't receive anything. And the only way that they were able to get out of it is if a white person came and vouched for the black person, basically say they're not evil, basically, right? In so many words. And also what I didn't know is I never understood why it was called Black Wall Street and how that we as a people was able to get the wealth. And what I found out was that, you know, if you look at the history of Oklahoma, there's also the whole idea of like the Indians being removed, the Native Americans. Well, apparently there's land that belonged to these different tribes, and some of these tribe members actually owned slaves as well, which I didn't know. But when the Emancipation Proclamation happened, what happened is that those individuals who were enslaved by Native Americans, part of the deal was that when the Emancipation Proclamation occurred, that they actually will receive land. And so that's how the Greenwood community kind of sprouted up, because these black folks began to get land and wealth as a result of that. And then they created their own environment so that black folks can have a safe space for themselves, which I didn't know. So yeah, 100-year Centennial.
That's really crazy.
And there is currently a bill in the House of Representatives to try to get individuals who were family members and victims of the 1921 massacre to get their insurance claims paid finally. Now,
they should.
But we don't know if it's going to go to the if it goes to the Senate and if it's going to get passed or not. I don't know. But it's crazy. And the only way we're going to get some action is if there is an act of Congress that comes through as a result of that. Crazy.
Very.
And then that leads us to Juneteenth. Juneteenth was
happy Juneteenth, by the way.
Saturday, June 19th, right? And so Juneteenth, for those of you who don't know, it is a celebration that occurred in Galveston, Texas, because when the Emancipation Proclamation occurred almost 2.5 years before, the folks in Galveston, the black folks, didn't know that it occurred. And it took a general to traverse, right, to Galveston. I don't know why it took 2.5 fucking years to get there, but they sent the general to let these folks know, hey, you're free, basically, right? And so it has been celebrated as a holiday for some time, particularly in Texas. And recently, Biden signed into law, made it a national holiday, right? Now, I do want to talk about that for a little bit, because a lot of folks, there was a lot of chatter on social media about, we don't need a holiday. Why can't you do voting rights? Why can't you do this? Why can't you do that, and the third? And I get the frustration. I can't speak for everyone, because black folks, we're not a monolith, right? We have different political views. We have different spiritual views, cultural views. But here's how I view it. I know folks are tired, right? And rightfully so. But for me, I don't necessarily think that we can't have different streams. We can have multiple things going on. And the commemoration of it being a national holiday, I think, is important. And there are folks who worked their ass off, right, behind the scenes years to make it a national holiday. Yeah. I forget the lady name. She's 94 years old. She's one of the individuals who has been fighting for making it a national holiday for years. And when it was signed into law, she actually walked 2.5 miles in commemoration of it being a national holiday, to represent the 2.5 years it took for those folks in Galveston to learn that they were free. Yeah. And so this is the first national holiday that has been placed in the books since 1983 or something like that, when MLK became a national holiday. And so I feel like there should be excitement around it, but that doesn't mean that you need to take your foot off the necks of these individuals in politics and to do something about other things, right? But I don't know. I truly appreciated the fact that there was a national recognition about the import of Juneteenth.
Yeah, and it's long overdue, and I do agree with you. I think that it's a big step, or a big recognition for everyone that was involved. But there are also there's a lot of things that need to happen too.
Yeah.
So
a lot of things that we got to do.
Exactly. Changed. I want to say will get here someday.
Yeah. I mean, there's a saying, particularly in the legal field, that the wheels of justice churn slowly. But I will also say that for black folks, it ain't turning. Okay. We need to move it quicker. And so this leads me to how we got to episode 43, what in the fried chicken and watermelon. So a store in Georgia, a Scandinavian store. It's a store that I like, IKEA. So IKEA decided to create a Juneteenth menu. They sell food.
Oh.
And they sent this out to the store members in Georgia. And it basically said, to honor the perseverance of Black Americans and acknowledge the progress yet to be made, we observe Juneteenth on Saturday, June 19th, 2021. Look out for a special menu on Saturday, which will include fried chicken, watermelon, mac and cheese, potato salad, collard greens, and candied yams. So the Black workers went on strike and walked out as a result of that. And so, there's the stereotype, all Black folks like fried chicken and watermelon, right? And if you look at some of the caricatures from the 1920s and the videos and the cartoons, the Bugs Bunny cartoons, where they had Black folks with the big pink lips slopping down on watermelon like we stupid and we have no sense. That's why I named this "What in the Fried Chicken and Watermelon."
That is so stupid for a big ass company like IKEA to go and make a menu like that. Because when you mention all that, that's like soul food. I'm like, did they not see what's wrong with that? Did it bother you at all?
Yeah, stupid.
Okay.
First of all,
you don't make a menu like.
First of all,
I don't know.
That's not an observance of Juneteenth. Okay, if you want to observe Juneteenth, close the fucking store. Give a party to the people and celebrate and have them come and bring their families, or give them a raise. Goddamn it, give them a $50 gift card or something.
Give them the day off and pay them for that. It's like a national. I don't know if it's
national now. Yes, okay. And a lot of states were observing it before it became a national holiday, right?
Yeah, no, yeah.
But that menu ain't hitting it.
Yeah, I'm like, it's so stupid.
Stupid is as stupid does, and that was just completely dumb.
Such bullshit. Oh my God.
Fried chicken,
watermelon.
Now don't say it like that now, before you get punched in the throat.
I was saying it like Beyonce says it.
Yeah.
I've been drinking.
Yeah. All right. So
we're cutting that.
So I want to talk very quickly also about Black TikTok. TikTokers
going on strike. And not making, because most of so can I kind of start this off? So this whole thing,
I mean, you're the TikTok.
It's been going on for a while now. people have been wanting recognitions, Black or people of color that make the TikTok dances and stuff, because all these
let's call them what they are: Black creators,
Black creators, there you go.
And white creators on TikTok culturally appropriate,
taking their
Okay, go ahead.
And not giving them credit.
Not giving them credit and becoming famous as a result of it.
And so from where I got when it went viral was when Addison Rae, she's a very popular TikToker, went on Jimmy Fallon, and she was teaching Jimmy all those dances that were created by Black creators and not giving them any credit at all. And she got a lot of backlash for it, as she should, and so did Jimmy. And what Jimmy did was, a few days later, he, instead of bringing them out, which I get it, maybe they couldn't go, I don't know how it went down, he had a Zoom call with all of them.
I didn't even know that.
They did their dance, and everything. But I'm like, so you have...
You mean the Black creators?
Yes. So you have Addison Rae come out and be on your show and have a whole segment to herself, but you can't do the same for the actual people that created these dances that she did on national television.
Yeah.
I thought it was just that's when I first was like, oh, and then you sent me this post and I was like, oh, I didn't know that they were going on strike.
Yeah.
But it makes a lot of sense because I have not seen a lot of
dances. And you see some of the corny dances that's happened, like with the Megan Thee Stallion song. She gives them instructions. Put your hands on the knees, and they are not even doing that.
Oh my God, yes. I'm like,
that is crazyism.
Go back to lip singing.
Yeah, that is crazyism. But TikTok has received a lot of flack because a lot of Black creators felt like they were shadow banned and not getting on the For You page of people. And these, unfortunately, these white folks who were culturally appropriating, right, will just pop up and pop up and pop up and pop up and getting all these likes and getting all this shine where these black creators were not.
Yeah.
And you know, this is their bread and butter. They're creating, right, for the enjoyment and the entertainment of people, and they should receive the same amount of money, from ads and things of that nature, as these other folks who not even creating the dances. They're just taking them. It's crazy.
It's for them. I'm sure I can't even understand how frustrating it might be.
Yeah. So I don't know what TikTok's response is going to be.
That's also them going like on a strike and stopping them from making their money, because people make money from TikTok.
I know.
Like, that's also interfere, but it's.
I mean, that's how well, that wasn't TikTok. That was not Vault. What was that stupid thing that like you only could do 10-second videos?
Vine.
That's how your boy David Dobrik, right?
Yeah, that's how he came up with like Zayn and Heath. I love them.
I mean, but you know, So I
Yeah, no, I totally, like, when you sent me that, I'm like, as they should.
Exactly.
Like.
Exactly. Well, anyway, so that's kind of all I really want to talk about. Is there anything else you want to talk about before we depart?
No, I think that was it. Let me check my topics.
All right.
I'm organized like that.
You had your topics better this time. You got motivated. All right, so that is the episode today here at Peeps Creek, the cafe, episode 43, season 4. What in the fried chicken and watermelon liquor store? I will say this: my latte machine came in. My latte machine has been doing great justice. I've been making some great lattes, some extra hot lattes. It's been a blast. My new dishwasher is installed and ready. Haven't used it yet. New refrigerator's there, looking good, feeling good. Ice is coming out good. The stove is great. I actually used the air fryer, but I need the real basket so that the air can flow through it. And the microwave is great. I haven't used the microwave either. But yeah, so that's the episode. I want to thank Christian for sitting through, coming out and having a conversation with us. Say goodbye to the people, Christian.
Goodbye, people, and cheers.
Cheers. And until next time, make sure that you continue to drink and listen and converse. And if you're going to drink alcohol, drink responsibly. Peace and love.